The reason we're in this space is that democracy wasn't working for everyone. We have a lot of folks who never saw democracy as a success, so they don't really mind that it's leaving. We've got to do the work of making sure that the government does what it should, that our society does what it should, that democracy does it. So it's commit, share, organize, mobilize. You got to litigate, disrupt, deny, engage, elect, and demand. And if we do those 10 things, mix and match, do whatever ones you want, do what makes you feel comfortable, but do something, because everything, everywhere, all at once, fantastic title for a movie, terrible mission statement. But if we want to resist, if we want the 10 steps to freedom and power to work, everyone has to do something somewhere soon. But if we do it, we can win.
Governors in blue states are quietly exploring a novel legal theory to resist Donald Trump, and if they're successful, it could change the balance of power in the Constitution forever. I'm Cheyenne. I'm an attorney that works in government and politics, so let me break it down for you. The term soft secession is becoming more common among Democratic governors and attorneys general across the country. Formal secession is unconstitutional, and that would be a state breaking off and no longer being a part of the United States government. But soft secession is financial and mostly has to do with wealthy blue states withholding their resources and money from a hostile federal government. If Democratic governors are able to do this, it would massively derail Donald Trump and his agenda. That's because on average, blue states are what's known as giver states, meaning they give far more to the federal government in tax income than they receive back in federal investment. On the other hand, most red states are known as taker states because they are reliant on the money that the federal government is able to dole out from wealthier blue states. Ironically, the legal theories that would make this possible are the ones championed by conservatives. Ideas that the Supreme Court has recently supported, like strong state government powers and limits on federal overreach, could be the very thing that allow these blue states to get away with this. Surely the conservative legal scholars who push these theories never imagined that they could be leveraged by liberals in this way. The legal research here is still ongoing because we genuinely do not know how far this theory will go. Could a state like California retreat from all federal funding, keep their own resources, and essentially become sovereign? The truth is, we won't really know until a Democratic governor feels bold enough to try this out and we see what happens in court.
The United States has landed itself on a global civil rights watch list. You heard that right. We are on a global civil rights watch list. We are no longer the watchdogs. We are the ones being watched. The Civicus Monitor, which monitors freedoms around the world, added the United States to its 2025 list, alongside countries like Russia, and it's for sustained attacks on civil liberty. Let that sink in. And you want to know the reasons given? Here you go. Peaceful protests being met with military force, journalists being arrested, and pro-Palestinian activities being silenced, and people being deported without due process. I mean, come on, even NPR and PBS are being defunded. They're saying, and I quote, "Our right to organize and protest is narrow, and we're sliding backwards in democracy." This is what the world thinks of us. And if this shocks you, it shouldn't. We're watching it happen in front of our eyes. I know MAGA thinks we're winning, but we are not winning. This is what the world thinks about the United States. So share this. We need people to know before it's too late because time is running out.
This is crazy. After the disastrous speech Donald Trump gave yesterday, Lindsey Graham suggested that he should run for office in 2028 multiple different times. I'm getting more and more worried that we're not even going to have an election in 2028, but just watch this.
To live with the Europe that's buying Russian oil at the time we're all trying to stop the war with Russia and Ukraine. So I hope he runs again. Trump 2028. I hope this never ends. When he asks, what should you do if a Russian jet flies into your country? Shoot it down.
This guy's practically drooling out of his mouth for Donald Trump multiple times in the same sitting, in the same speech. He said that he should run for office again in 2028, violating our Constitution. Of course, Graham knows this is a violation, but he's so wrapped up in praising Donald Trump's every move that he doesn't even care. Saying, "I hope this never ends," when referring to a presidency is not normal. It's not patriotic. It is dangerous. That's how people talk about kings or emperors, not presidents of the United States. This is the problem with all of Donald Trump's enablers. They don't care about term limits, the Constitution, or basic democracy. All they care about is feeding Trump's ego and keeping themselves in his good graces. Think about what we're all watching here. This is a sitting senator advocating for Donald Trump to never leave office. This country was founded on the principle that no one man should hold power forever. The literal reason this country was created was to escape from a king, and now people like Lindsey Graham and all of the other enablers want to throw all of that away.
Hello everyone, it's Anton here and I'm chilling in the park as usual. So we are living in the handmade still. And at the moment, what I usually think, in 50 100 years to come, historians will be really looking at this decade in the US history as a moment, I don't know, to reckon with. Because Project 2025 is really giving Trump and the rest of Republican leaders who will come after him great powers, because he has been able to influence the narrative in the US as if democracy is no longer a necessity in our country, that his political opponents are evil, they are lunatics, they are mentally unstable. He has really been able to influence Americans that schooling children and defunding our education is the right way to go. He has been really being able to
The reason why we're living through this nightmare, because too many of you failed when it mattered. The crowds who stayed home, the clout chasers who wasted their votes, the purity police who whined Kamala Harris wasn't good enough, the smug contrarians who pretended there was no difference between the candidates, the so-called leftists who'd rather fantasize about a revolution than prevent fascism, the self-righteous independents who mistook apathy for principle, and yes, the Arab community who decided to send a message over Gaza by sitting out or sabotaging Kamala. You cracked the door wide open and handed the keys to extremists. You chose vanity over survival, cynicism over solidarity, and now we're all drowning in the consequences of your arrogance. Project 2025 isn't a theory, it's a manual. And when you stack it against what's actually happening right now, you can see the blueprint in action. First, the civil service purge. Project 2025 calls for bringing back Schedule F to strip protections from career federal workers and make them easy to fire. That's already been reinstated by executive order. Second, DEI. The plan calls diversity, equity, and inclusion programs radical and wasteful. In reality, the White House has already eliminated DEI offices and initiatives across the federal government. Third, Title IX. Project 2025 wants sex defined strictly as biological, undergoing protections for LGBTQ students. The Education Department has already moved in that direction, reinstating the 2020 rules and rolling back expanded protections. Fourth, the Justice Department. Project 2025 envisions it directly controlled from the top. In real time, we've seen pressure on prosecutors, firings of officials who've resisted, and public demands from Felon 47 to target political rivals. Immigration is another big one. The plan calls for militarized enforcement and mass deportation. Reality? Troops at the border and hardline expansions of enforcement powers. Environmental rules? The agenda says dismantle the EPA's climate authority and undercut California's clean car leadership. Reality? The EPA has rolled out sweeping deregulations, weakening greenhouse gas standards and state authority. And reproductive rights? Project 2025 leans on the Comstock Act, an 1873 law banning the mailing of abortion pills. We've already seen efforts to restrict medical abortions through federal and state actions, laying the groundwork for Comstock's revival. Even media and speech, the fingerprints are there. Project 2025 envisions centralized power over communications. In reality, we're seeing FCC pressure and political backlash fueling suspensions and censorship battles. The bottom line, Project 2025 isn't sitting on a shelf. Schedule F is back, DEI is gone, Title IX is being rewritten, the EPA is deregulating, DOJ is under pressure, immigration is militarized, Abortion access is narrowing. We are living through a live adaptation of Project 2025. Order by order, agency by agency. And don't you dare forget where the blame lies. The same people I called out at the start. The ones who stayed home. Who tossed their vote in the trash. Who played purity politics. Who thought sending a message mattered more than saving democracy. This disaster is your legacy. You didn't just give extremists an opening. You rolled out the red carpet. You handed them the match, and you walked away while the house burned. This is the cost of your arrogance, your apathy, your vanity. Every rollback, every purge, every assault on rights is stamped with your fingerprints. And before I close, let me make one thing crystal clear. The group that showed up, that never wavered, that carried democracy on their backs yet again, were black women. The 92% stood firm. The 92% refused to be fooled. 92% voted to hold the line, while everyone else played games. So thank you, black women, because without you, this country would already be gone. The question is whether the rest of America will finally learn from your example before it's too late.
The Democrats are willing to fight and shut this government down in order to save healthcare for millions of working families. In the big awful bill, Republicans cut the federal subsidies to the Affordable Care Act, making it impossible for working families to afford to pay for health insurance. My family is on the Affordable Care Act. I have owned a small business for 15 years. I pay for my health insurance. I pay a monthly premium. I pay co-pays when I see the doctor and for my prescriptions, and I have a huge deductible. If the federal subsidies are allowed to expire, my health care will go up $20,000 a year. I will still have co-pays and deductibles. I will not be able to afford that insurance, and it will happen to millions of working families in this country. I'm not even talking about free healthcare. I'm talking about affordable healthcare. And doctors' offices and clinics and hospitals will close when people are no longer able to use their facilities, and then we will overwhelm our emergency rooms. The government shuts down in a few days, and House Republicans went home past the deadline, and the president canceled meetings to negotiate. I 100% support the Democrats shutting down a government that is not working for us and is inflicting pain. Please share this information. Everyone needs to understand what's at stake here.
I don't know if you guys have seen the breaking news out of Dallas at that ICE detention center, but here's the thing. We cannot trust any information that comes out of this FBI. We cannot trust any information that comes out of BLS, any of the economic data. Now, we cannot trust anything that comes out of this DOJ. We can't trust anything that comes out of HHS or even the CDC. We can't trust any of it. And I think that we all just need to understand that until further notice, anytime an incident like this happens, the default is just going to be, oh, there was engravings on the shell casings. Oh, this person, we found this social media post saying, or anti-ICE, or that they're trans, or that they liked Bernie Sanders or something. It's just always going to be that. And we're going to have no idea whether it's just completely made up out of whole cloth. Because what happened in this situation, the targets, the people who got unalived and hurt, were the detainees. Okay? So I don't understand how that ideology would make sense to target those people instead of the agents. It doesn't make any sense because it probably doesn't make any sense because I think we all know what's going on. So until further notice, that's going to always be who they say the perpetrator is because they are trying to demonize half this country and create conflict. This is by the playbook. Okay? All right, thanks.
Last time, the Democrats saved Trump when there was a looming shutdown. And again, they want to save him again. And they have a majority in the House and in the Senate. They can't even agree among themselves the best way forward for this country. They can't. They're in disagreement. I don't know why. So again, Trump must, Democrats, the legs of Jeffries and Schumer must save this government from shutdown. It really shows who are the mature ones here. It really shows because Trump is really ready for a government shutdown so that he can control the government workers. Because when there is shutdown, I believe I've not followed much, but maybe people have to go and come back again when the shutdown is over. So I don't know. I'll research about it.
There are a slew of videos going around the internet right now, specifically on TikTok, of what transpired at Tennessee State University, which is an HBCU. And basically what you had were these MAGA bros wearing red Make America Great Again hats on the campus of an HBCU where they held up signs that read, DEI should be illegal, deport all illegals now, let's talk. Let me be clear about something. This is political violence in word form. And I actually think that a lot of people could take some notes on this. You do not debate the rights of human beings and just the right to be a person in a country that actually benefits greatly from diversity. Secondly, what really gets me is they're going after DEI, which we already know is the new woke. It's the new term to label black people. And because you're too cowardice to say the word that you really want to say, you use these. And here's where we could take some notes. You don't debate fascists, as Mehdi Hassan told us in his Jubilee. So what did the students at Tennessee State University do? They got in good trouble. And you know what else happened? The university stood up for them. Because these dudes that I'm looking at right here, they didn't have a permit. They're not students. They were trying to provoke people. And they lost. And one of those SOBs, his name is Cam Higbee. A lot of people know who he is. Let me just give you a brief description. Grifter, moronic, unintelligent, and also manufactures consent for the G-side that is going on in you-know-where by being part of the MAGA influencers that were flown out, as the reporting states, by the state of you-know-who to show, oh, food, they're saying there's no humanitarian aid. Here's the humanitarian aid. Oh, they say that there's no food trucks. I see the food trucks. Oh, they say there's no gas. Look at all this oil. Look at all of this. And a lot of these people work for PragerU, which is a whole nother video. But Cam Higbee is part of this new debate me bro thing. And you know why he's doing all of this? Number one, because it's a grift. And you get paid really handsomely if you sell out. Number two is there's literally a spot open because of the unfortunate events that took place this past month. And he's trying to take it. So F him and F his buddy too.
This message is for black folks. For months on end, I've seen us get on social media, laugh and mock the immigrant community. And I make video after video in solidarity with other marginalized communities, understanding the fight that we have standing together. And the very real fact that every harm that comes to any community, we get it the worst. People making jokes about undocumented folks getting picked up by ICE. And I said in video after video after video that what do you think they are going to do to us? And folks were in the comments, but we're citizens. But this is what they voted for. Fuck around and find out. And I said that because of the president that we all have, we all end up stuck with the find out stage. And here we are in DC on August 15, 2025. And you know what citizenship has gotten people in DC? Unlawfully harassed, unlawfully stopped, unlawfully searched, maced, chased, and over-policed, as well as detained and jailed for simply standing around their community. And for all those goofies saying, oh, they're trying to reduce crime, DC has the technology that can zoom in so close to your license plate if you speed that you don't think they don't know who might be busting out a car window. And as I've said in many videos to my people, you can continue to claim that you are sitting it out, but they're going door to door, and it's just a matter of time before that door knock is yours or someone that you know. And if you're not willing to fight for your own life, who do you think is going to do it?
Bernie Sanders forced a vote to stop arming Israel, and 19 Democratic senators voted against it. So let's go through the list and see if your senator is a piece of shit.
Starting with number 1, we have Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, and you can reach him here. Next, we have Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, and here's where you can contact him. Next does not surprise me at all. Number 3, we have New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, and here's where you can reach him. Next, we have my senator, Maria Cantwell, out of Washington State, and here's where you can reach her. Number 5, we have Delaware Senator Chris Coons, and here's where you can contact him. Next up is Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, and you can reach her here. Next is the least surprising name from this whole list. We have Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, and here's where you can contact him. Next, we have New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, and you can reach her here. Number 9 is New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan, and you can reach her here. Number 10 is Colorado Senator John Hickenlooper, and here's where you can reach him. Next is gonna hurt some people, I guarantee it. We have Georgia Senator John Ossoff, and you can contact him here. Number 12 is California Senator Alex Padilla, and you can contact him here. Next is Michigan Senator Gary Peters, and here's how you can reach him. Number 14 is Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed, and here's where you can contact him. Next, we've got Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen, and here's where you can contact her. 16 is another California Senator Adam Schiff, and you can contact him here. Next is the name we've all been waiting for, Senate Minority Leader and constant disappointment. We've got Chuck Schumer out of New York, and you can reach him here. Number 18 goes to Virginia Senator Mark Warner, and you can contact him here. And last but not least, we have Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, and you can reach him here.
Hello friends, it's Anthony again, and we are coming to the end of this video. If you have watched to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate you. So in the first clip, you saw about these MAGA folks. I saw their Twitter handle. They are being called Fearless Debates. So they are going to these HBCU universities, and they are discussing with these black kids about DEI, if its abolishment was really a good thing. So in the wake of Charlie Kirk's shooting, HBCUs received a lot of bomb threats from I don't know where. But Trump, in his speech in the Oval Office, he claimed that liberals, lefts, the Democrats in general, they are the orchestrators of violence in our country, right? The president of the United States sparked a narrative, and now now, even before the country has healed, these MAGA folks, they are going to these HBCUs, which were receiving bomb threats, and they are trying to spark a debate, a tense debate. They are trying to spark a reaction from these guys so that they can push a narrative, which is very bad at the moment when our country even has not healed from what went on. Even a month isn't over from what really transpired. In the second clip, this lady is talking about the violence which is going on against black folks. They is claiming about this narrative. You know, narrative breeds a lot of bad things in this country. A narrative is being pushed, right? In the other clip, it is this about these senators voting about funding this Gaza war. And sometimes I usually ask myself, what does Israel have on our leaders? The other day I saw 250 leaders. They went to Israel. I have nothing about my Jewish brothers, and they existed of an Israel state. I support that. And one thing I don't want is a foreign entity having influence within our government. It's really bad. If we really want to support Jews, let's support a peace process between them and the Palestinians. That's all. But funding a war, I don't think it is in the best interest of us, because I'm seeing these clips. Kids are being bombed. It's happening all over that place. That it has all been leveled, and Netanyahu doesn't even want those hostages. They are not his agenda at the moment. The agenda is expanding the Israeli state. I don't know. It's a really tense topic, because again, the violence which happened on October 7th, it was really bad. And again, these Palestinians too support Hamas which has been described as a terrorist entity. It's a really tense situation happening over there, but I don't think that we should be funding those wars. We should seek a peace process, but funding those wars when even our citizens don't have access to healthcare, when people are being driven to poverty, when people are being overtaxed in our country, I think it's a mess. When our leaders don't care about the situations in our home, in our states, in our districts, in our counties, as they care about the situation happening in Israel. I saw even the other day, Mamdani and Cuomo and Slawa and Adams, they were having this debate. And then the reporter asked them, if you become elected, will you visit Israel? How does Israel have to do with New York? How does Israel have to do with New York? It's really a question we should be asking ourselves. Is Israel controlling our government?